Hey everybody, Josh Searson of World Alternative Media here, and there is some breaking news that I think a lot of you will find quite humorous. Some of you might get offended. I'm not sure where to go with this myself, but I think that we should break this down as it has just reached the news in the past couple of hours. So of course it is late at night for most people in Canada, and so some of you will wake up in the morning to see this, but of course I think it needs to be broken down to the best of our ability, because obviously there's a few sides to this that I think need to be analyzed. Of course, there's the side of Trudeau doing the exact opposite of what he virtue signals, and then at the same time seeing someone like Trudeau mixed up in the same thing that a lot of people are at, on another scale, is that everyone gets offended over everything. So are we going to turn it around on Trudeau, that I think most of us, especially people who watch this channel, very much do not like? You know, obviously, I'm the guy who called Justin Trudeau a scumbag to his face back in 2017, made international news for that reason. Of course, I don't like any leaders, but that's beside the point, because obviously we should be as consistent as humanly possible. I'm going to bring up some of these photos for you guys that are tuning in here live on YouTube. So here is the picture here on the right of the screen of Justin Trudeau dressed in what they call brownface. Blackface seems like it's kind of the same. I like how they emphasize that. Maybe that might be a little insulting. Oh, it's not as insulting if you dress in brownface versus blackface. All the same. He dressed as Aladdin. So that's what this was about. He went to an Arabian Nights themed party and was dressed as Aladdin. Now, I don't know, from what I remember, even in the Aladdin Disney movies, wasn't Aladdin like kind of pale in the face? You know, I don't know. It was kind of strange to see him put that level of what looks like grease paint on his face in order to make himself look like Aladdin. I actually find the creepiest part of the picture is how he's holding that woman, and we're not quite sure who that woman is yet. But also, I should mention, he has apologized regarding the photo, and we'll go into the apology shortly. Obviously, this is all over the news currently, and people are freaking out on both sides, and we saw there's a video by Andrew Scheer talking about how concerned he was over this. In my opinion, people like to play politics out of everything. Even, like, look, I can't stand Justin Trudeau, but are we really going to make politics out of literally everything? Are we going to play into that, I guess, cancel culture? I can't open this because of the paywall that the New York Times has. Try opening the Time Magazine article here. Because, look, he called out governor candidate in the south of the United States last year regarding a photo that he appeared kind of in blackface. Said he should resign. Now, Justin Trudeau says we need to look at this as a case-per-case basis, and perhaps we should rethink before, calling on him to resign. I don't know. I kind of find it's the same thing, but honestly, it's not very offensive in my opinion. I think obviously some people are offended, but I don't get why people waste their time being offended over everything these days. And that goes for both sides. I mean, you can't just play it one side and then call it the other. Now, with that said, I can't stand Justin Trudeau, and he should be called out for this just because he's virtue signaling all the time. I want to get into this article that says Justin Trudeau wore brownface at 2001 Arabian Nights party while he taught at a private school. And it says Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, wore brownface makeup to a party at the private school where he was teaching in the spring of 2001. Time has obtained a photograph of the incident. The photograph has not been previously reported. The picture was taken at an Arabian Nights-themed gala. It shows Trudeau, then the 29-year-old son of the late former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, wearing a turban and robes with his face, neck, and hands completely darkened. The photograph appears in the 2000 to 2001 yearbook of the West Point Grey Academy, a private day school where Trudeau was a teacher. Earlier this month, Time obtained a copy of the yearbook. The View with the photograph of Trudeau in brownface from Vancouver businessman Michael Adamson, who was part of the West Point Grey Academy community. Adamson was not at the party, which was attended by school faculty, administrators, and parents of students. He said that he first saw the photograph in July and felt it should be made public. Yeah, well, now I want to get into the apology here. He said, well, basically, he just repeated the same nonsense over and over again. I think it'll be best to get to Twitter here, where he says, I should have known better. And he just over and over again repeated the same sentiment, saying how bad he felt about what he did. And I can't play much, even if it is public domain, because I can't even play the audio. Because for reasons that I won't go into in great depth, YouTube doesn't allow fair use anymore and will take down our channel if we dare to show it. So anyway, for those just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been caught in a photo controversy regarding a 2001 photo of him at an Arabian Nights gala wearing a brown face. It looks like blackface to me, whatever you want to call it. He was dressed as basically a Sikh or someone of that nature. Kyle Kashov posted this earlier. God, let me spice up this news cycle just a little bit. Justin Trudeau brown face picture. God to God, hold my beer. Sources tell CBC News there is video of the earlier blackface incident Trudeau admitted to during high school. Now, I want to also mention, and I'll get into more of this in a moment, but I also want to mention that he has admitted now that he also dressed in makeup, quote unquote, to do a rendition of the song Deo for a talent show in high school. Man, this boy ain't right. I'm telling you. I find it humorous, okay, guys? I'm not here to be furious about this because honestly, I really don't care. I don't care if people dress however. I think there's something to be said about being distasteful, but I don't think it means anything to dress in a costume. People make a big deal over literally everything these days, and it's all part of that cancel culture. It's all part of creating, divide and getting everyone offended over everything. And after a while, you just start to say, well, this guy coughed, and the way he coughed, it sounded kind of African American in the way that he coughed. So we need to punish him, destroy his career. Now, I honestly think every politician should resign. So I'm all for Justin Trudeau resigning. Obviously, he said we should look at this at a case per case basis when asked if he was going to resign. But we've seen in the past many politicians have resigned over this or less. So this is probably not going good for him in the, I think, second week of his stupid campaign. It's just more funny to me that he's such a virtue signaler, that he's constantly talking about how everything's racist and everything's terrible and, unconscious racism, as he mentioned in his apology. It's kind of ridiculous. But for those just tuning in, here's a picture. Well, here's our thumbnail anyway. We got Gwen Derma commenting in the live chat. I can't stop laughing. He's got to be the most embarrassed person in the world right now with his stupid virtue signaling. I completely agree, Gwen. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. It's hilarious. I'm not offended. Why is anyone offended by this? It's so stupid how easily offended people get. I just find it funny with the amount of virtue signaling that he pushes. For him to be caught up in something like this. And remember, he's also been caught groping women in controversies in the past, groping women. And let me just add, I'm going to bring that photo back for a second because I think it's interesting to note that the creepiest part of this picture is not the brown face or black face. It's the way he's holding that woman by the throat. It's just kind of creepy. I don't know. So he was a teacher. Okay, so he was a teacher. So why is that a student or is that a date? He said it was a close friend of his in a press conference. Look, he's always so bewildered and concerned. Look at his face. Yeah, it's fun. We have fun here at Wham. Justin Trudeau, for those just tuning in, has been caught in a blackface/brownface controversy from 2001. He has apologized. Overall, I just think it's funny. I don't get offended by stuff like this. I mean, Halloween costumes. Remember, what was it, Moana or something like that from a Disney movie? Someone was dressed in that, or they had ads for a costume for little girls to dress like her, and she was like an inspirational figure, and she happened to be a different color. Does that mean black girls and Native American girls and East Indian and whatever you might, whatever persuasion, shouldn't be allowed to dress as Snow White? It's just so stupid. Everyone gets offended over absolutely everything. I'm in no way offended over this. I just think Trudeau is an idiot. That's basically my bottom line for all of it. It's funny, it's stupid, and I love watching someone that virtue signals so much. As we see, remember Al Franken, how much he virtue signaled, and then he's caught like groping all these women and like doing these terrible things. What about Jimmy Kimmel talking about how this guy should step down for wearing blackface, and then there's all these sketches where he's in blackface? I mean, and same with Sarah Silverman. Now, I think the Sarah Silverman one, as much as I don't like her, it was more about testing political incorrectness, because she wore blackface, and the black guy in the show dressed like a Jewish person, and they lived a life in each other's shoes for a day. It was actually kind of funny, as much as I don't like Sarah Silverman. But with that said, it's gotten to a point where everyone's so offended over everything. There's recently an SNL cast member who stepped down over over making jokes about Asians. I mean, come on. What happened to the good old days of being offended and that bringing out the laughter in people? I'm pretty sure that laughing at funny jokes that are kind of off limits, and you laugh because they're off limits, isn't going to go make you lynch someone. It's absurd. But again, Justin Trudeau has been caught in a photo in brownface, and he said that he was also he had also done a talent show in high school where he was in makeup, quote unquote, and sang Deo. So I can't wait for that picture to come out. And there's information coming out that there might be video of Justin Trudeau dressed as so. This is Elizabeth May says, "I am deeply shocked by the racism shown in the photograph of Justin Trudeau. He must apologize for the harm done and commit to learning and appreciating the requirement to model social justice leadership at all levels of government. In this matter, he has failed." Well, Justin Trudeau is just a dingus. I mean, I can't think of a better name for it. He's a clown. It's just everything he does is embarrassing in some way or another. He apologized earlier. It's one of the #1 trends online in the world at the moment. And there's all these photos coming out, and he's known for a while. Look how concerned Scheer looks here. Sorry, but it's just like, come on. It's man, I don't know. It's all just a way for people to politically pander at this point. Of course, Jagmeet Singh is responding, "Oh, it's terrible, just racism and mockery," and of course it is, and it's stupid and it's wrong in a way. Like you should know how to be a bit more tasteful, but let's not use these things to politically pander. It's like, for example, and it's something that I had done a lot of reporting on before regarding Jeffrey Epstein, talking about Jeffrey Epstein and everything that's gone on with that, which, by the way, got just completely ripped away from the news. I wonder how that happens. When we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and people would be like, "Oh, he's a pedophile, so he was friends with Clinton, so go after Clinton." Oh, and then people on the other side said, "Never mind Clinton, he was in pictures with Trump, and he was friends with Trump, so Trump's a pedophile." I was just like, whatever political side, but if you dared say the side that people identified with, everyone would go crazy. Everyone would go crazy and act like you were attacking them personally. And it's like, are we really going to pick sides for this? Are we going to pick sides for when we're offended? Are we going to pick sides for when it's okay to be friends with a child trafficking pedophile who might work for the Mossad? I mean, it's always like people always use politics as a way to justify the unjustifiable. And this is another reason why politics is dead. This is another reason why politics is so coercive and terrible, outside of the extortion, robbery, theft, and then the enforcement of slavery unto the populace via the hand of collectivism. The greater good of the greater number, 51% controls the 49%. It's ridiculous. So I'm not concerned that Justin Trudeau was in brownface. I find it funny. People can be offended all they want by that. I find it funny. It's funny. The guy is a virtue signaling tool, and he's dressed in brownface after all the people he's called to resign over the same things. It's always like a poetic form of justice when it comes to these stories, because we all know these heavy, far leftist people do whatever they can to virtue signal and then hide their own past and call everything racist, even unconscious racism, as Trudeau said in his press conference. Unconscious racism. Like, we all hate black people deep down or something. Like, maybe you, Trudeau. I don't. I mean, you know, you, like you said, case by case basis. I judge things by case to case basis too. If I see someone that looks dangerous on the street, white, black, whatever it might be, at nighttime, I try to avoid them. Or even better, if government weren't so involved in taking away our free will and restricting our ability to, defend ourselves, then I would defend myself and feel a lot better about myself, and all would be well. But anyway, you know what I mean. And it's funny because with this happening, it looks really bad for Trudeau, especially since he skipped the debates recently, and it doesn't look good when the Prime Minister himself doesn't actually show up at the debates. They're all debating how to extort us, how to enslave us, and who will give everyone the most free things, and who will pretend to cut taxes, and who will, actually add to the taxes, and who will print more money. It's all nonsense. Canada's going into a recession. Trudeau's approval ratings have fallen like a rock. And now we have this at the same time as him dropping out of, a debate, which was pretty important. And he comes up with all these excuses. We got to teach our children well, and all this unconscious racism that's happening, and it's terrible. But we have to do case-by-case basis. So when I said that other guy should resign for wearing blackface, I didn't mean me, because, do as I say, not as I do. I mean, okay, whatever. I'm just, it's another example of vast hypocrisy in politics. I mean, is anyone actually surprised by any of that? By the way, if you haven't already, press like on this video and share it to help get the algorithm up, because we are insanely shadow banned. Super chats help a lot. Thank you, Liza Jean Williams, for the $2 Canadian that you sent us in the super chat. Really means a lot, helps us a lot, and keeps us alive. She says, Trudeau, brownface, will he be at Fur Fest? I don't know what any of that means, but thank you for the super chat anyway. So for those that are just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been caught in a hilarious picture dressed as Aladdin at an Arabian Nights gala in 2001 at a private school where he was a teacher. And it's kind of one of the funniest things I've seen in the news for a while. We've gotten nothing but bad news over the years, and over the last few weeks. It's just bad news. Other than John Bolton getting booted out, but he gets replaced. Anyway, it's just bad news. And then you see these stories, and it's like, a bit of comedy for the night, right? Most people in Canada are in bed at the moment, but I couldn't not cover this. And I think that, honestly, I'm going to go through Twitter and see what people are saying, see how people are reacting to this. Everyone's so shocked and disgruntled. Dave Rubin, breaking, Justin Trudeau caught in brownface. The news cycle is officially insane. I agree, Dave. I agree. Andy Go says, newly unearthed photo shows Justin Trudeau wearing brownface at an Arab-themed party. Hashtag, oh, here we go. Hashtag brownface is now trending in the United States. In a recent apology, Justin Trudeau stated the following: "Don't be tripping, dog. Know what I'm saying?" Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Now you got me on there. Now I'm gonna have to issue an apology and step down from. Oh yeah, I'm not an extortionist politician. I don't have to worry. The post millennial says Justin can show you the word of hypocrisy. Poor Justin Trudeau tried to be Jafar but went too far. Oh no. It's a really stupid picture. And I just find it funny. Again, I find the creepiest part the way he's grabbing that woman in the picture. And you know how Trudeau has been accused of groping women and stuff in the past. Charles Adler says, toxic Trudeau. A picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture of white Justin Trudeau in brownface is millions of words. This is toxic to any brand, especially one that's called liberal. I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, here's one. Not only brownface, says Andy Von Boos or Bus, but notice where his hand is. Coincidence from our feminist prime minister? Yeah, well, I mean, and people will spin it any way they want. Again, I can't stand Justin Trudeau. And of course, see, they turn it over. I completely understand why people are so upset about this. It was stupid and insensitive. And they showed Harper in Native American garb. And again, more examples. Everyone gets offended over everything, and everyone turns it onto the other political side. Like, but that guy over there. But what about this guy right here? Wait. What about this guy? Why are we going over there? Wait, that's another thing. This is this thing. But, Trump did this, but Hillary did this, but Harper did this, but Trudeau did this, and and Scheer and Singh and Bernier. It's a big part of the political realm that I've been trying to speak out against for a long time, because it's whatever fits people's viewpoints. It's confirmation bias. And people are like, Brian Lilly, it really is shocking to see Prime Minister Justin Trudeau dressed in blackface and a turban. Can Trudeau get away with something no other political candidate would survive? Possibly not, but is it really shocking? I don't know. It's just like, I remember 20 years ago, these Halloween costumes were not that crazy. I mean, even look at this. The post-millennial posts this. Maxime Bernier declined to call Justin Trudeau a racist, opting for the more accurate characterization of biggest hypocrite in the country. Now, that's where you go with this. Maxime Bernier is right in this sense. I mean, when it comes down to this, why are people crying about it? We have the SJW left, which is so psychotically insane. And everyone gets offended over everything. And everyone needs to get booted out of their job. And you say something 20 years ago, and now remember what happened to Paula Deen? I mean, it's ridiculous. Remember what happened with the Opie and Anthony show? It's just absolutely ridiculous, these controversies. What just happened on SNL with that cast member being kicked off. And then Rob Schneider got in all this trouble for saying, it wasn't that big of a deal. You should not, fire people for making jokes that are funny. Anyway, but then you have on the other side of the right, there's also a lot of crybabies that are offended over anything. And it goes to show that realm of politics. It's one form of collectivism or another fighting each other, and people get to decide the will of the populace because 51% owns the 49%. It's absurd, and it needs to end. You know what? Liberal says, when you live by virtue signal, you die by social justice. Hashtag Justin is canceled. And you also see him in India a while back ago. That was pretty embarrassing. He is a rather embarrassing person overall. There's his father dressed as a pimp and looking like Huggy Bear and everything. Look, for those just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been caught in brownface. He did an apology and whatever. Maxime Bernier makes a right point by saying it's not racist. It just makes him a hypocrite. I mean, and that's true. Why are people freaking out about it? I think overall it's just funny. Kulvinder Kaur MD says, racist Trudeau, Liberal Party supporters are now trolling me and defending his discussing brownface and racism. Absolutely repulsive. All racist trolls are being blocked. Brownface and blackface are never defendable. Racism is not partisan. Justin Trudeau needs to resign. Now, I'm all for him resigning, and I'm all for all these people getting out of office and not extorting me and trying to steal 65% of my income. But with that said, I mean, I just don't think it's that racist. When I think of racism, I think of, bad intent. What I find creepier is just the way he's he's groped a lot of women by the sounds of it, but the way he's grabbing or holding that woman in the photo. I mean, that's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, what? Whatever. He says it was a close friend, associate, or whatever, and that no one in particular. Is it a student, Justin Trudeau? Who is this woman that you're holding weirdly in this photo? Anyway, I'm taking questions and comments from the audience, so please send in your questions, and super chats go to the top and help us a lot. And make sure to press like on this video if you haven't already. Sergio Morris says Robert Downey Jr. is the only one that can do it. Yeah, it's weird how that happens. But again, it's like you're just playing a character, right? Now, there's such thing to be said. There's a lot to be said about being distasteful, and I'm not a fan of, wearing blackface, obviously. But, I mean, there's a difference between distaste and racist. And also, I think it's just more funny that it's more about hypocrisy and being, just overly hypocritical, as Maxime Bernier points out. Chad Meyer says distraction. Yeah, it's a total distraction. It's a distraction that now it gets the people on the right to say, Oh, wow, 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 I'm so offended. Well, how about we all stop being offended? The left and the right need to stop being crybabies and start looking at the fact that they're being extorted for most of everything. Why aren't you offended by the vast currency printing at the Bank of Canada and us paying off the interest on the debt and vast taxes going towards that and being extorted for 65% of your money to fund Saudi Arabia? I mean, it's just, why are we... Where are we going with this, guys? It's just who can be the most offended by the other. One side says we need to stop being offended over everything, and then when something happens that's hypocritical on the left, which there's a lot of, but it's politics anyway. It's all hypocrisy. But then it's like, oh, well, those guys, we should be offended. He should resign. What kind of floor are we rolling out for the future here and the divide and conquer agenda? I think that's important to ask. Red Rum Twin says, Justin is a rat, attacks others any way he can for being racist so he can get ahead politically, and does it himself. Absolutely true. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Trudeau is one of the greatest hypocrites of all time, and he's an idiot. I don't think he actually writes any of the policies. I think other people do it for him. I mean, the guy can barely tie his shoes, and essentially you have... Remember Sophie Trudeau singing at a gala a while back ago about what it's like to be a black slave in the field? So cringy. It's just a cringy family in general, and they're not good people, obviously, and Trudeau is definitely I would call him a rat, sure. But with that said, yeah, who cares about a costume? Like, are we gonna get offended over Halloween costumes like that Mona costume that everyone was freaking out about last year? We've decided to pick sides based on political agendas, and it's annoying. They're all a bunch of hypocrites, and people are always whining and trying to find a way to be offended over everything. Arthur Vegan Wolf says, World Alternative Media, it's not funny. A white Canadian teacher in 2001 wearing blackface and when exposed 18 years later admits that it was racist. Fire Trudeau. Well, I'm all for, him getting booted out of there, and I think he's a complete moron, and again, it's distasteful, but I'm just being consistent here. He shouldn't have done it, but I mean, Aladdin costume, I don't know. I knew kids growing up that wore similar stuff, and including makeup on the face, and no one really cared then. And can you imagine if they took that kid's picture today and threw it up in the media? His life would be ruined. He'd lose his job. I think we need to stop being so overly offended over everything. I'm not saying that it's okay to be wearing blackface or brownface. It certainly isn't. You're gonna probably get disassociated with in the public, in the free market, and you're probably going to get punched in the face if you're seen wearing that kind of stuff. But with that said, I mean, moreover, I'm more concerned over the fact that no one seems to be offended over the fact that he's stealing half of everyone's money to pay off the interest on the debt, do vast deficit spending, and all the jobs numbers are fudged, and is actually the labor force participation rate shows that employment is really far down from when he got into office. It's really bad. And we're on the verge of a recession as the yield curve inverts and flattens. But no one's talking about that. No one talks about the fact that the banks are all bankrupt. Everyone just talks about whatever seems to drive people against each other the most. Now, Burnt Offering says JT is just a puppet, not a decision maker. I agree. They're all puppets, right? And they're all puppets in the political realm. And whoever can promise the most free stuff, wins. And yeah, with the SNC Lavalin case, Eliza Jean Williams says what he did to the AG was disgusting. So at the same time, we have SNC Lavalin. I actually think that was tiny and minuscule compared to other controversies, but it's what hits the media. And of course, it is certainly a resignable offense. What he does as far as paying people off, covering things up, groping women, he's fired more women out of his cabinet than any prime minister in the past, but he calls himself a feminist because, of course, you can only be a feminist, you can only be a strong woman as long as you don't disagree with him, right? Or don't call him out for groping them, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And obviously, Wilson Raybould was booted out. I'm sure she's got a long political career in the future. Again, politics and government in general is organized crime, but Burned Offering says, sorry to puppets, she is pure evil, though. I agree. You have to be kind of evil and psychotic to run for office in the first place, don't you think? You're like, I think I know what's best for everyone. I'm going to enforce it at the point of a gun. It's just, I don't know. Team Deep Tillage says the budget will balance itself. Yes, of course it will. Bingo says Justin should Epstein himself. Well, that means he'd have to be about to come out with a bunch of information and get Hillaried. You shouldn't call it Epstein. You should call it Hillaried, just to be clear there. To come out with him. I have information that'll lead to the arrest of Hillary Rodham Clinton. So let me just shoot myself 3 times in the back of my head the next day. Anyway, Liza Jean Williams says, you think he might be Castro's son? I don't know. He does look a lot like him, but I actually find him to look a lot like Pierre Trudeau. But it makes sense considering his mother did spend time by herself with Castro, like within around 9 months before Justin Trudeau was born. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Nonetheless, I don't know. I really don't know. But it's a funny thing to ponder. Justin Trudeau, to me, is just a joke. What he does is very serious, but I don't think it's actually him doing it. He is a puppet. Other people write the policies. Do you actually see Justin Trudeau writing policies? I mean, it's absurd. If you're just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been found in a brownface, quote-unquote, controversy with a picture from 2001 when he was a teacher at private school. And I'm not sure who that is. That a student? Is that a teacher, a fellow teacher? We have to find out. There's information coming out now that there might just be a bunch of footage coming out of this night. So where is this all coming from? These people just have this footage this whole time of Justin Trudeau, and he's like, well, I wasn't aware of, I mean, I knew about it, but I'm talking about it now. I wasn't going to talk about it before. Because they're like, why haven't you come out about this before? You called for the resignation of a governor in the U.S. Over the same thing. Why haven't you come out at the time and been honest about it? He's like, well, we're talking about it now. Well, that doesn't change that. But he did admit that in high school he was in a talent show where he was in makeup as well and covered the song Deo, which just sounds absolutely terrible. Can you imagine that video? That just, I can't even, just be terrible. Just absolutely terrible. This is a good meme. Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate. Go ahead, throw your vote away. Good old Simpsons. Here we go. Ryan here. Ryan Patrick 39 on Twitter says, y'all are going to condemn Trudeau for the brown face, but not say anything about this. Come on, man. People that aren't white can drive tractors. Okay, look. All politicians are criminals. All these people are organized criminals. Screw all of them. I think they're all just terrible. And I mostly think the biggest part about this that needs to be called out is how hypocritical Justin Trudeau really is. I mean, look at this picture here. He was dressed as Aladdin at an Arabian Nights gala party, and he's grabbing this woman in a really strange way. You could see the way he's grabbing her hand down here and has got her near the throat up there. That's kind of creepy. Notice how it was an Arabian Nights gala, and okay, is she supposed to be dressed as Jasmine or something? Because I don't know. I'm looking, and okay, she's got a cloth on her head. Not a great representation of Arabian. This woman would get killed in Saudi Arabia, by the way. Showing her shoulders and everything. I'm just saying, as someone who's been to Islamic countries, I'm just putting the truth out there. But yeah, anyway, really, really bad costume. Definitely distasteful. But more funny than offensive. I mean, it's just funny to watch him get brought down more and more as he misses debates, the SNC-Lavalin scandal, groping women, and all this kind of stuff at the same time as this picture comes out. I mean, he's still polling ahead of a lot of people, but it depends on which poll you're looking at, and it depends on the media, since he just gave a huge handout to the mainstream media throughout Canada as well. He will be speaking in Winnipeg tomorrow, so if you are in Winnipeg, don't forget to go out there and call him a scumbag, as I did. If you're in town, I'm trying to start a trend here. I called him a scumbag to his face because I believe that he is a scumbag, and I'm kind of disappointed in how few other people have called him a scumbag since. Anyway, Red Rome Twin says this is blackface, not brownface. Yeah, it's whatever the media is calling it. But yeah, the CBC polls are saying that he's polling ahead of other people in the race right now. But I mean, the CBC was also paid a vast amount of money, and then at the same time, Justin Trudeau put up a list, a digital charter, a 10 bullet point charter that talks about how he, how we can't express hate speech. He's cracking down on hate speech. He wants to eliminate hate speech in Canada, and in this way, he'll stop censorship by stopping hate speech. It's like the most strange, schizophrenic charter I've ever seen. And basically, it means that these mainstream media has just got hundreds of millions of dollars, but he's going to approve certain medias and disapprove of other medias. And he'll unroll this charter that says these medias cannot be allowed, and they are hateful, etc. So he's pushing that hate speech thing to the max. It's ridiculous. We've all seen this coming for a while. And at the same time, remember, I was there on the ground when it came to calling him a scumbag. I watched as the mainstream media was manipulated, and no one listened to me at the time, except for a few of our viewers here. Basically, what happened was he went out there and he was before he got to the podium, the media people came to me from his office and said, you can ask him one of these 5 questions. And I said, well, I have another question. They said, well, tough luck. You have to ask one of those 5 questions, because he had a script ready for those 5 questions, of course. And so I stood to the side and I had to confront him between questions, and in which I called him a scumbag. After like 5 minutes of confronting him, mainstream media claimed that I shouted at him in front of children. There were no children present, and that I swore at him, calling him a scumbag. I don't know if that is considered a swear, but whatever. Anyway, point is, I saw it at that time how controlled the media was, and now they're going to cover this in the most hasty, non-comprehensive way possible, and they'll probably be out of the news soon. Nonetheless, for those just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been found in a picture from 2001 at an Arabian Nights gala, dressed as Aladdin in quote-unquote brownface. And I think it's funny because I've been covering lately how far his approval rating really has fallen when you actually look at multiple polls together and connect all these different polls together from all sides of it. And you realize that he's going down really hardcore right now. I see Burned Offering says, Josh, that was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Epic. I agree. It was awesome. Make sure to press the like on this video if you haven't already. Use the Super Chat option if you want. It helps a lot and keeps us alive here at WHAM, as we are completely ripped to pieces by shadow banning here on YouTube, and people like Justin Trudeau are contributing to that. Justin Trudeau is pushing the shadow banning by pushing that digital charter around hate speech. He says literally in the charter that it's meant to stop censorship, so therefore we need to censor people. It's like the most backwards thing ever. And the CBC is state-run media, and all these medias are also getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the Liberal Party. And it's just absolutely crazy, and we're suffering. And if you want to see us counter the mainstream narrative in the future, and you want things other than CBC in Canada and CTV and global, if you want alternatives, you need to fund independent media. You need to help us. $1 a month is all it takes. And again, I'll bring up, we are on all these alternatives, as well as, well, this is Float, but we're on GoFundMe, and again, this is from 5 years, so don't think I got $11,000 in like the last few months. This is from the last 5 years. And we are also on, of course, Patreon. $1 a month is all it takes to help keep independent media alive. So if you can send in $1 a month, that's all it takes. If everyone did it, or even 5% did it, 5% would be about $6,000 a month would be coming into WHAM, and it would keep us alive as we're demonetized, shadow banned. We've lost 80% of our audience since the beginning of the year. We are also on a Subscribestar. If you do $1 or $2 a month, and then we also have $5 a month tier and up will mean that you will get subscriber-only content that you won't see on YouTube, as YouTube cracks down and deletes our videos, considering it hate speech. Again, in tune with what Trudeau is pushing in Canada. We are on float.app. That's flote.app. Join us there, join us there, join us there. We need to move away from YouTube as soon as possible, because soon we will be eradicated, just completely gone from YouTube, and you'll never see us independent medias again. If not myself, Press for Truth, We Are Change, all those other independent medias, Ford Fisher, News to Share, Carrie Weather, all those. We are getting eradicated. Another reason why you should join us on BitChute. As well, where we are posting videos, because very soon we'll be completely deleted off YouTube and we will be gone forever, and that'll be the end of it. We are hardly seen on YouTube anymore. It's devastating to us, and we need those super chats more than ever. So we appreciate anything you can do to help keep us alive. And of course, we have a Bitcoin address if you wish to tip us in Bitcoin. It helps a lot too. Anything helps, guys. Anything. $1, that's it. $1. It's all it takes to keep independent medias alive, so that we can continue to counter this narrative. Or else one day you're going to turn on YouTube and all you will see is Fox News, CNN, CBC, CTV, Global. That's all you will have. And you'll wonder where we went, and you won't be able to find us because they'll have deleted us from all of the platforms. So anything you can do to keep us alive is really, really, truly appreciated. We thank you so much. Everything you do for us makes it possible for us to survive. And we truly, your support means the world to us. Let's not be complacent. Let's support independent media. Now, anyway, for those that are just tuning in, make sure to press like on this video, share it, hashtag Justin Trudeau, hashtag Brownface on Twitter, etc. Get people watching this live stream. In fact, what I am going to do currently is take the live stream link here and share it on Twitter. Hopefully someone actually sees it, because YouTube makes it so that very, very few people see it. Look, we have 133,000 subscribers on YouTube, and look how many people are watching right now, 76. What does that tell you, guys? What does that tell you? Tells you that we are shadow banned to death. That's basically it. This is why we need your help more than ever. Let me just type this in on Twitter. If you're not following us, we're at World Alt Media live on YouTube, talking about the Brownface controversy regarding Justin Trudeau's controversial 2001 photo. Tune in. All right. I'm doing this all live, folks, so don't mind me. Hashtag Canadian Polly, hashtag Canada, hashtag Trudeau, hashtag Wham. All right. Shared on Twitter, and let's see if anyone else joins us, because we are getting ripped to shreds here on YouTube. No one watches us anymore. Very, very, very sad. Anyway. So send in your questions, send in your super chats, help us out, and your chat will go to the top if you send in those super chats. We really appreciate it. It keeps us alive. Now, for those just tuning in, Justin Trudeau has been pictured in brownface or blackface. It kind of looks like blackface. Anyway, he was caught in a photo op from 2001 at a party, an Arabian Nights themed dinner gala, when he was a teacher at a private school. And he was, great teaching, Justin. He was dressed in brownface and dressed as Aladdin, and the picture has gone viral. And it is, humorous to say the least, considering who Justin Trudeau is. Remember, Justin Trudeau is one of the biggest virtue signalers. He's the SJW Prime Minister, after all. He's a guy who calls everything racist and everything offensive. Everything is so offensive. And here we have Justin Trudeau dressed in an Arab costume. By the way, most Arabs I've met in Arab countries are not that dark. It's pretty much blackface. I mean, let's be real here. And it's also really creepy how he's holding this woman. Anyway, no one else would get away with it, but still, I mean, who cares? Let's not play politics out of it. I mean, I'm not offended by it. Let's not create a culture of being offended by everything, regardless of what side it's on. Of course, Andrew Scheer is doing a whole thing about how deeply shocked and disgusted and offended. Do you think this guy is actually just sitting in his home this concerned and bewildered? No, he probably saw the news and was like, yes, and started shouting to the heavens, thank you, God, for giving me this on a platter. Because, I mean, it perfectly fits. Look at 90,000 tweets right now about Justin Trudeau. It just perfectly helps him in their campaign. And it's just, politics is organized crime. Government is organized crime. It's all nonsense. And apparently, this picture I just saw 50 minutes ago, hey now, he gave you blackface too. Justin Trudeau, brownface, Aladdin. Huh. Now, I cannot confirm this picture, but it appears we have a picture of him dressed as a black man, as a black musician with an afro. I'd have to get this confirmed, but I wonder, is this the photo that they've been talking about regarding him doing a rendition of Deo in high school? I can't tell how old he is because he's always looked like he's 10. But nonetheless, I don't know. I just saw this just now. I'm sure many of you watching right now have just seen this for the first time. The picture is not very good, so it's probably pretty old. And it appears to show him also with an afro and possibly blackface singing the song. Could this be the photo of him, what he alluded to earlier on during his apology on an airplane earlier regarding the Arabian Nights photo? Could this be the photo that he was talking about where he was in makeup and doing a rendition of the song Deo? Like, is this real life, guys? I mean, it's what a weird world we live in. It's just so dumb. It's all such a strange world we're living in. So of course the photo that's really come up is this one here. It's a smaller version. He is dressed as Aladdin at a 2001 gala dinner. Now, this person says, Gordon Bennett says, this should be the picture Trudeau should be resigning over and apologizing for. Goodness. Yeah, that's a pretty bad picture. Anyway. Yeah, it's just, it's ridiculous. And again, a lot of people have been bringing up Robert Downey Jr. What do you mean, you people? I honestly think we just got to stop getting offended over everything. I just think we should be calling out Justin Trudeau for being a hypocrite, an absolute hypocrite, and as I called him at that press conference a couple years ago, a scumbag, an absolute scumbag, because you have to be a scumbag, a psychotic scumbag, to think you can rule over the masses, extort everyone for 65% of their wealth, throw it at Saudi Arabia, throw it at paying off the interest on the debt, throw it at war spending, throw it at crazy debts and, transgender study stuff, racial sensitivity training. And then here you are in brownface/blackface Justin Trudeau. I mean, it's absurd. Absolutely absurd. For those just tuning in, of course, Justin Trudeau has been caught in another controversy. Go figure. And it's just, they're piling up. And of course, with the SNC-Lavalin scandal, and on top of that, you have things like him not showing up to that debate. If you have things like him, being accused of groping women. Can he survive? Probably not. And should he? No. Anyway, again, for those just watching or just tuning in, we need your support more than ever. Super chats are really useful. It's the only thing that's actually in any way helping us stay alive right now on YouTube, other than your Patreon pledges. Just $1 a month or more helps us stay alive and keeps us bringing you content on a regular basis. We have no choice but to ask, because without asking, we will go under, because YouTube has cut us down 80% and our monetization essentially down 90% since January, and we can't reach you anymore, and we are going broke, and we are in so much debt trying to keep this entity alive so that we can do this 18 hours a day and provide a free service to people. So we cannot do it without your pledges. So if you can send a pledge, if you can send a super chat, if you can send a GoFundMe, a Patreon, anything, we really, truly appreciate it. It's the only thing keeping us alive right now. So thank you so much for any support you can give us. If you're going to support independent media and fight this information war, now is the time. Not later, now. Because we are going to be under, and YouTube will delete us probably in the next 1.5 to 2 years, possibly, very possibly sooner. Gerard144 says the real racists are outraged over a 20-year-old photo. The real racist, dude, let's stop being offended over everything. I don't really care about the photo myself. I just think it just shows how much of a hypocrite he is. And politicians in general, talking about fair and, we need to do fair taxes, blah blah blah. We need to freedom and human rights. Meanwhile, they're taking human rights, they're stealing people's money. That's not fair, and they're causing all these problems. It's all part of that political paradigm, collectivism, begetting collectivism. It's cancer. You can cut 95% of a tumor out, but still that 5% left, it'll grow. Face of the Sun says Justin Trudeau, black-faced racist. Yeah, well, I mean, and he could be racist. I don't know. I'm more concerned and more offended by the fact that he's a terrorist. He's an organized criminal, a psychotic control freak. And he's not writing the policies. It's other people writing the policies. Have you ever heard that guy talk? Can you imagine him writing out policy? I mean, think of it. I find it just humorous how all the politicians, all the candidates are responding to it, and everyone turns it into like a part of their political campaign, like they give a damn. No one cares. Justin Trudeau would do the same thing with other people as well. It's all just an example of how psychotic and criminal politics really is. But anyway, we're 50 minutes in. We got 72 people watching of 133,000 subscribers. Go figure. Vast shadow banning. And I appreciate the comments and the questions that are sent in. We will get back at you with a lot on this as it develops. Obviously, Trudeau is he's in defense mode right now, and he is trying to fend off attacks, and obviously well-deserved attacks. He's an idiot, but I think this is very likely going to turn into something bigger, and people will get more and more offended, and then them thinking about being offended will make them more offended, and then people will go into their safe space and cry about it, and then come back out and say Justin Trudeau needs to resign, and this politician should, enslave us and steal from us. It's all nonsense. It's all collectivism. All the same. We will continue to follow the story, but I think more importantly, I use this as a reason to talk about much more important issues like inflation skyrocketing, banks being bankrupt, yield curve inverting, recession on the horizon. It never really ended in 2008. It's just been papered over with debt, fast printing currency. That's why wages aren't buying anything. Wages don't need to be pulled up. What needs to stop is inflation, the vast printing of currency, utilizing illegal tender laws and usury to enforce through social contract laws in order to enforce on us by gunpoint. So then we have to pay off the interest on the debt. And if you're only paying off the interest on the debt, you probably don't care about the actual debt. You're only paying off the interest. So that will give you a really bad credit rating with any credit agency, by the way. And it is another example of how we're being extorted, and people say, well, we need more government to fix it. No, we don't need more government to fix it. The government created the problem in the first place. They should not come in as a solution. You are the solution. You are the change you wish to see. You are a free human being, and stop thinking otherwise. Stop looking for new puppets to extort you in a different way for a different means. It's all part of the same complex of servitude and slavery that people have, fallen for hook, line, and sinker. Change, we can believe in change. Every campaign since the beginning of time, going back to ancient Greece, has been about change. And maybe the change doesn't come from a new puppet taking the place, promising you free crap that they've extorted off of other people and create vast, monopolies under. Maybe that change comes from you. You are that change. Maybe Justin Trudeau, Scheer, Bernier, maybe Singh and Elizabeth May, I've interviewed her. I totally forget her name. Press for Truth called me George Michael. You're going to resent that, Dan Dix. I'm super tired. I was falling asleep, and then this news came out. So here we are on YouTube talking about how Trudeau has been caught in a 2001 image in brownface. It's just too good to be true, but Super Cyan says, who would vote for Singh? That's a good question, Super Cyan. Who would vote for any of these fools? It's all just a perpetual nature of politics, and it never ends. Scheer is so concerned and befuddled that Trudeau wore brownface. Who cares? What I care about is the fact that he's a hypocrite and a virtue-signaling moron who wants to steal your money and thinks it's good to have carbon taxes. Anyway, extortionists will be extortionists. Criminals will be criminals. That's the nature of organized crime, and they are all part of that, and exchanging the puppet isn't going to change the system that you're exchanging the puppet at the head of, who's just a spokesman for that vast crime syndicate. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Again, join us on BitChute if you haven't already. We need you there, guys. Without you guys, we are seriously screwed right now. We're in bad shape. They're deleting our videos off of YouTube. They've cut us down 80 to 90%, and just since January alone, join flote.app, flote.app. Join us there. Look, we're getting up to 621 followers on Flote, and I'm getting more reach on Flote than I am on Facebook with like 8,500 people. What does that tell you? It's not shadow ban, and a friend of mine created Flote, and you could also pledge to us with Bitcoin on Flote. So seriously, it's great. They're replacing Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit. They are replacing Patreon, and you could do live streams. You could do super chats on those, and they don't steal any of it, because of course YouTube steals a lot of the super chats. I found out today 30%. It made me sick. How much money they're just ripping out of my wallet. And then they screwed themselves too, because they cut me down 90% in monetization anyway, 80% in viewership since January. And that means they're cutting themselves down that much as well. They don't care about money. They care about control and controlling the narrative and creating a new mainstream media, because everyone left the mainstream media as this vast establishment media propaganda machine, indoctrination machine that follows up your indoctrination camps we call public schools. And people left those entities into YouTube and Facebook. And now YouTube and Facebook are becoming those new entities, controlled even at a greater scale. And now we need to move to the next alternatives, and the sooner the better, guys. Move to flote.app, flote.app. Come on, it takes 2 seconds to join. Follow me there at Josh Sigurdsson, as well as at Wham. I am there at Wham as well, so you can follow us at that account as well. Hope you do. The sooner the better, guys. We need you guys over there, and we are dying here on YouTube. Also, just $1 a month. That's all it takes. With Patreon or Subscribestar, just $1 a month. That's all it takes. And on Subscribestar, $5 or more a month will get you a tier where you can get subscriber-only content that you won't see elsewhere. I'm also on YouTube as Josh Sigurdsson. So I'm going to pull that up for you right away, because I think I need some more subscribers over there, guys. So, yeah, let's see. I'm going to pull this up for you. Just give me one moment. YouTube.com, Josh Sigurdsson. See what happens when I type in my name. It's all like my least viewed videos. And I am there at this channel here. I'm going to pull it up on the screen for you guys. So go subscribe to me there. Please do. This is Josh Sigurdsson. I just posted a video today exploring an ancient Venetian tunnel and the Palamidi Castle of Naplio, Greece. I also have done interviews with Del Bigtree on this channel, stuff like that. I only have 79 subscribers, so go over there and subscribe to that channel and press that notification bell if you haven't already. And press the notification bell on this channel too if you haven't already. Make sure to go subscribe at Josh Sigurdsson on YouTube. It's just my other vlog channel. But anyway, we are moving over to flote.app, flote.app. Has anyone followed me since I last said it? Refresh. My followers have dropped dramatically. I think that's just a glitch. Let me just get that again. There we go. It goes back up. That was weird. I have to show Kingsley that later. But yeah, Subscribestar, and we got Patreon, and we got GoFundMe. I mean, all it takes is $1 a month, guys, and you could save independent media. I'm sorry I have to go over this so much, but I have no choice, because I'm being shadow banned so much, and you guys are the change you wish to see, and you guys will save us. Long term, it's my job to change this, and my responsibility to build my media up. But for the time being, we need you, or else we'll die off, and we won't be seen again. And all you'll have is mainstream media. So again, for those just tuning in, Justin Trudeau wore a brownface at 2001 Arabian Nights party while he taught at a private school. There's said to be video that might be coming out soon regarding this, and I think that should be quite entertaining when that comes out, if it does. He also dressed in possibly blackface to sing the song Deo in high school. Strange world we live in, isn't it? Anyway, it's just all nonsense. It's all divide and conquer, and this is a distraction story, guys. It's a total distraction story. It's to get you sitting by the water cooler tomorrow talking about this and laughing about it, rightly so, because it's funny and stupid. But at the same time, distracting you from how most of your money is being stolen. Literally, you're working 65% of your year for the government to pay off the interest on the debt at the printing of currency, which makes the price of living skyrocket, which means that your purchasing power means nothing. So that the more you get paid, that's a hidden tax of inflation. You can't afford things with your money. So they want you talking about this story below instead of your wallet getting ripped out of your pants, all of the money getting ripped out of your wallet, enforcing vast amounts of debt onto you, and making you essentially a slave for 65% of the year, then add inflation on top of that, and then add the carbon tax on top of that, which is a tax on absolutely everything and causes exporting to go skyrocket, kills small businesses, good for big businesses and monopolies. That's what you should be talking about at the water cooler tomorrow. Don't forget that. So anyway, politics is just made up of criminals. Government is organized crime. Learn from it. Stop voting for these criminals. Start voting for yourself. Start being independent, free, responsible. Responsible is the hallmark of individual freedom itself, Just individual responsibility, self-sustainability. That's what the government does not want you to have. Sustainability, responsibility. That's what they want to stop you from. Food, water, shelter, self-defense. So you're not gathering things for the toughest guy on the block. And of course, in my opinion, gold and silver, wealth insurance, and cryptocurrencies, decentralize everything, break free from this paradigm, and get out of this vast complex of organized crime. Stop falling for it and stop falling for the distraction stories. And the only way to break free as well, I mean, there's multiple ways, but from a personal level, but also helping independent media stay alive. I mean, I appreciate what Liza Jean Williams did earlier, sent me Canadian $2 in the super chat. That means a lot. Though that goes a long way in order to go against this mainstream narrative that's being shoved down our throat on a regular basis. And if you can't help, we're all going to go under and you won't see us any longer and you're only going to have mainstream media. So anyway, I figured I'd go live and talk about the story while it's happening in the news, and I appreciate everyone joining us. This video will probably be demonetized, so send us some help on, GoFundMe, Patreon, all the links below. We have Bitcoin as well, which I will put up on the screen for all of you guys to tip in. It really helps out a lot, and we also have Litecoin and Dash, I believe, in the description. So yeah, anything you can do, guys. Really appreciate it. Justin Trudeau is probably going down, but he'll be replaced by another idiot, another puppet, another fool, another criminal, and you will still continue to be extorted, and the paradigm will get deeper and deeper and deeper. Look what happened in Manitoba. They threw out the NDP Socialist Party after all those years, and then they bring in the Conservative Party and Pallister, who just got reelected, by the way, in Manitoba. Overall, from last time I checked, taxes actually went up, if you consider everything, 18% under the Conservatives. So, yeah, you're being used, guys. You're being used to sacrifice for this, for the king and the queen. It's just a game of chess. You are the pawns. Don't allow yourself to be pawns. Break free. And also, save your local independent media, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Justin Trudeau's probably done, and screw him. He's a scumbag. If you see him in Winnipeg tomorrow, call him a scumbag. Come on, guys. I can't be the only one in Canada that says it. Let's do this. He's in Winnipeg tomorrow. Go out there. Confront him. Non-violently, peacefully, of course. YouTube will take things out of context for me. And call him a scumbag. Just like I did all those years ago. Let's start a trend. Scumbag Trudeau. Let's bring it back to the media. Don't be afraid to yell. These are criminals. When someone's robbing your family or attempting to rob your family, you will defend yourself. Why aren't you defending yourself against these scumbags? Anyway. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Ms. Skilled Gamer says Josh Searson. Yes, that is the name of my other YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, make sure to go subscribe. Let's see if any of you have subscribed since the last time I checked. 79 subscribers to 81. So 2 of you guys did. Come on. I see almost 80 of you watching. You guys can subscribe to my videos on my other channel. Really appreciate it. That's Josh Searson on YouTube, another channel, just my vlog channel. Cool stuff I'm going to be posting there over the next while. I might change the name to Wham Travels in the next little while. But anyway, I keep going on and ranting on, so it's best that I finish this off. Help us out any way you can. Make sure to press like on this video, share it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and until next time, this is Josh Harrison signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.